So the Kamala Harris insanity has picked up since I last reported about it 2 weeks ago. So if you don't know, Kamala Harris is the freshman senator from California who the Democratic Party establishment is now trying to anoint as a 2020 frontrunner. Here are some of those recent articles. HuffPost, don't tell Kamala Harris to wait her turn. The Guardian, Kamala Harris, young, black, female, and the Democrats' best bet for 2020? The Hill, Dems need a fresh face for 2020. Try Kamala Harris. Okay, so you get the point. Now, on the actual issues, Kamala Harris appears to be sort of progressive. She has discussed Medicare for all and criminal justice reform and a number of other progressive issues, though she hasn't really been all that vocal about it. But that isn't even my main concern with Kamala Harris. It's really the fact that 2 weeks ago, she met with Hillary Clinton's big donors. And Mike.com has a new article out that goes into her past failings on this issue of big money, titled, Democratic Rising Star Kamala Harris Has a Bernieland Problem. As Mike reports, there are reasons for the suspicions about Harris's fealty to big financial interests. Despite opposing the nomination of Treasury Secretary and former Wall Street titan Steve Mnuchin, in a previous life as California Attorney General, Harris was criticized for essentially letting Mnuchin's bank off the hook during the foreclosure crisis. In 2013, prosecutors in her office drafted a memo that claimed they had uncovered evidence suggestive of widespread misconduct at Mnuchin's One West Bank. According to The Intercept's David Dayan, who first reported the memo, those prosecutors recommended Harris file a civil enforcement action against the bank. Instead, Harris did nothing. Later, it was revealed that Harris was the only 2016 Democratic Senate candidate to receive a donation from Mnuchin. So the problem that progressives have with Kamala Harris isn't that she's not progressive on the issues, at least on paper. It's that she's shown that money can influence her. And the American people already went through this with Obama, who ran as a progressive and then got into office and his cabinet was handpicked by Citigroup. This is a fact. I'll even put a link to the story below my video and a link to the email that Citigroup sent John Podesta right before Obama was sworn in as president in 2008. So while progressives are trying to learn from the past with Obama, there are Democrats online who are freaking out at the idea that Kamala Harris doesn't meet the standards of progressives. So let me show you some of these tweets and just how ridiculous their arguments are. So Victoria Brownsworth retweeted the Mike article saying, Kamala Harris, biracial senator and former AG of the most populous state, faces misogynist white men defaming her. Fixed her headline. Well, except for one glaring issue that New York Times writer Amanda Hess points out. None of the Harris critics quoted in the story are white men. In fact, the three people who are quoted in the Mike.com story as being critical of Harris are Nomiki Konst, who's part of the Democratic National Committee's Unity Commission, Roseanne DeMoro, who's the executive director of National Nurses United, and Winnie Wong, co-founder of the group People for Bernie. But that didn't stop Joy Reid from smearing them, saying, this piece would have been more convincing had it quoted millennial voters, rather than three alt-left activists. See, this is the kind of argument you make when you have no actual argument. You just smear them with a name. Oh, there are three alt-left activists. Like, that's supposed to mean something. And it's just as empty as Brian Fallon's tweet, who was a spokesperson for Hillary Clinton, who said, if you are attacking Harris right now, the problem is you, not her. Again, what the hell does that even mean? There's no argument there. But maybe my favorite argument, because it's so ridiculous, is the sexism argument. With Sarah Lerner tweeting, I've noticed that a certain segment of the left feels threatened when women start to outshine other leaders. Again, someone who clearly didn't read the article. And this bright young lad, David Dole, quoted that tweet saying, how about Jill Stein, Nina Turner, and Tulsi Gabbard? It takes basic knowledge of the left to understand how baseless the sexism argument is. The sexism argument is one that really cracks me up, because these are the same people who complained that Bernie supporters were voting for Jill Stein. Do they not realize the disconnect there between their argument and reality? If they're sexist, then why are they voting for Jill Stein? And why are they supporting Nina Turner and Tulsi Gabbard? There are actual progressive women out there who progressives would love to see run in 2020. So what will it take for progressives to actually trust Kamala Harris? Well, if it's not already obvious, drop the big money. If you're a strong candidate, you can run without a super PAC. You can run without Wall Street. You can run without corporate money and without Hillary Clinton's donors. That's how people know that they could actually trust you. So people trusted Bernie Sanders and what he ran on because he wasn't taking those big donations. And that was in addition to the fact that he fought for the same issues his entire career and that he was an independent senator. So Kamala Harris, if you want progressives to trust you, Drop the big money. It's that easy.